Hi, Matthew, and really, really grateful that we get to spend some time together. So I want to make the most of it. So I'll keep this as short and condensed as possible and make sure that we are cramming the most amount of value in here. Everything we're going to cover off as strategies that we've been refining and testing throughout 2023 and have been adapting to the changes and the different environments that we've got here. So this is your $1 million roadmap, and this is a clear and achievable plan on how you can achieve sustainable sales growth in 2024. And I want to start by saying this. You are just 5,000 targeted prospects away from $1 million a year income. And the training that we've got here today is going to walk you through the exact process, showing you a clear framework of what you need to do, how you need to do it, how you can measure it, and how you can leverage a lot of the current challenges and to give you a clear roadmap that's going to propel you towards your growth goals in 2024. And let's start by looking at some of the problems and some of the challenges that are going on out there. Like, how is AI impacting the buying journey? Now, I can tell you, AI has certainly made generating leads easier. It's saving everyone time that's using it effectively, but at what price? What are some of the consequences caused by AI into the conventional sales model? How is this affecting people's buying journey? And I can tell you that trust and credibility and authenticity, it's a lot harder. But I can also tell you some of the lesser obvious consequences is as these chatbots and AI programs are leveraging out their words and phrases and things that had impact before are losing their touch because everyone is now on a more level playing field. So how is that impacting you and your business, and what can you do to overcome it? Now, there's also so much uncertainty and challenges in the economy, and this training here is really designed for people that are selling in the B2B space. So it's important to understand that the businesses that you're targeting are dealing with a lot of change, and there's rising costs and other external pressures that are creating uncertain times and competing priorities and attentions, and maintaining that attention is really hard. And there's also so much noise and distraction out there that it's fighting for that limited attention that you've got, and it's so easy to get lost and forgotten about. Through there, you can have a great conversation with someone on Monday and they've forgotten about you by Thursday. And then the other thing that's really impacting it is so many irrelevant or outdated or incomplete growth strategies that are out there, and context is really, really important in everything that you do. And it's really important to understand not every marketing or sales strategy is going to be a good fit for you, and aligning with the right strategy is essential for success. And to save you some sort of time, let's look at who this training is for, because if it's not for you, then you may as well not be here. But if it is for you, you know it's been proven, you know it's been tested, you know it's exactly what you need, and there's a science and a method and results behind it. So this training here today, it's for coaches, consultants, and B2B startups that are looking to increase their revenues, but have limited time, resources, and support, but they value relationships and authenticity, and their clients and their ideal clients specifically, don't buy easily. They need trusted relationship. And most importantly, it's for people that are prepared to focus their time, focus their attention, and actually put in the work to achieve a worthwhile goal. So if that's you, that's amazing. This training is going to be fantastic for you. And what's your agenda today? Well, there's really three things we're going to go through. I'm going to help you create a strategy that works specifically for you. We're then going to help you understand what are the systems that you need and how can you build it. And then finally, how can you manage the process and go out there and achieve the results and make 2024 your best year yet? So let's get stuck into it. But before we do, I want to give you a reality check. I think most people dramatically overestimate what's achievable in a short period of time, but dramatically underestimate what's achievable in a 12 to 18-month period with consistent focus, time, and effort. And I want to make sure that regardless of where your situation is right now, and regardless of whether you have a full roster of clients and are looking to kind of take it to the next level, or you're starting out with nothing, everything you want to be doing, you want to be having one eye on what can I do today to be setting up for success in 12, 18 months time. And the strategy we're going to walk you through now balances that both, that it does give you some immediate impact and give you the results you want in the short term, but it's also going to give you the lessons, the learning, the momentum that if you follow it properly is really going to help you in that sustained success over 12, 18, 24 months and beyond. So the final thing I want to cover before we get stuck right into the training is I just want to get us aligned with some of the languaging, because everyone has different definitions of leads and all that kind of stuff. I just want to spend a minute to tell you about the way that I view them, because in the training, that's how I'm going to be, this is what I'm going to be referencing and going to be using. So a targeted prospect to me is a business who meets your ideal client avatar and you plan on communicating with, but as yet don't have any correspondence with. So that people you've built on LinkedIn, their email databases you've got, they're people that you want to go and talk to and plan on sort of turning into leads. But at the moment, before they respond, they're a prospect. Now, an unqualified lead is the first step of when someone comes in and has generated lead, express some interest. They're not yet fully qualified. That's the first step. And once they meet all of your qualifying criteria and are actively engaged in the sales process, that's when we call them a qualified lead. And finally, a converted lead, well, that's one who's agreed to your terms and is now a paying client. Make sense? Awesome. Okay, so let's get stuck into this strategy. Now, there's only 4 variables that you can use to grow your revenues. And I don't care what business you're in, these are only 4 ways that you can impact your revenues. And these are called the profit multipliers. And it's really simple. You can grow your revenues by generating leads, by then converting leads into sales, by looking at your average sale amount, and also the frequency of purchase or the longevity. So as you'll see in the next slide, we're going to show you how we kind of use these when it's building the strategies. But I want you to understand this at a kind of high level, because making changes into these areas can actually give you an exponential result. So most people think that growing their revenues is linear. Generate more leads, convert more sales, increase our revenues. But it can actually be exponential, because if you can generate more leads and then improve the conversion of leads converting to clients by implementing effective sales and follow-up processes, you can actually get a better return out of your leads. And then if you can increase the average sale amount, you can actually get a better return out of those sales. And then if you can focus on the frequency of purchase, the longevity, and the lifetime value of that client, you can actually then really maximize the results. And if you make small improvements on each one of those, it doesn't give you a linear impact. It actually gives you an exponential. And that's one of the things that we're going to leverage in this strategy to really help you get the results. We're not just going to show you how to generate more leads, but we're going to show you how to maximize the conversion of sale, give you some ideas on how to increase your average sale amount and show you where those values need to be achievable, and also give you some ideas on how to increase that lifetime value of that frequency and longevity of purchase. So let's show you the $1 million formula. So this is very, very simple and straightforward. Start with a targeted list of 5,000 prospects. Implement processes that over a period of 12 months can convert 1 out of every 8 of those prospects into an unqualified lead. It's going to give you 600 new leads every year, or about 50 per month. And then if you can have the right processes and strategies in place, that's going to qualify 1 lead from every 4 unqualified leads. That's going to give you 150 qualified leads. These are the ones that you're going to spend the time on converting into sale. And out of that, all your sales activities will hopefully be able to convert 1 client out of every 3 qualified leads to give you 50 new clients over the next 12 months. And if you can maintain an average client value of a minimum of $20,000, your total revenue hits $1 million. Now, $20,000 is a really important number when it comes to getting the scale out of your coaching consulting business. Because if you're operating at a lower value than that, by the time you impact the sale and you put the time in place to be able to do it, the selling and the marketing and all of that kind of stuff that goes into, and then the time you fulfill them and actually deliver on the coaching work, you're actually not going to be making any money. Now, of course, there's different programs that are more automated leverage programs and that you can get away with a lower client value and a higher volume of leads. My experience is they're becoming less and less effective, and it's not something personally I'm interested in pursuing this year, because the rising costs of advertising and the shortening buying cycles and the lower conversion rates is making that very, very hard to be profitable. So you want to make sure your programs are high touch, high impact, and are looking at that kind of $20,000 or higher. We've got clients on our rosters that have, client values well over $100,000, and those numbers change accordingly through from there. So I want you to pause this video now, and I want you to take a time to look at what do you need to achieve to hit your $1 million in revenue. So to do this, it's very, very straightforward. Start off with the $1 million number and then divide that by your average client value. If you're $20,000, that gives you 50 clients that you need to be able to achieve your goals. Now go back and use some examples, if you've got them, of what your sales conversion process has been like. How many leads does it take to convert into a sale? And you may or may not have the numbers, or you may not have been looking at it the way that we're explaining it to you here. So I'll give you some examples. So most of our clients we set as a benchmark, 1 out of 3 qualified leads convert into a client. So if your goal is 50 clients, then 1 out of 3 is going to give you 150 qualified leads. And then for most of our clients, we expect 1 out of 4 unqualified leads will actually qualify. So 150 unqualified leads, you need 600 unqualified leads to get you 150 qualified leads. And then again, targeted prospects, we set the benchmark with our clients of 1 out of 8 over a 12-month period. So that gives you 4,800, or round it up to 5,000. Now remember, this is over a 12-month period. So I want you to pause the video, make sure you get really clear on those numbers before we proceed. Now, hoping that you've actually stopped, done the exercise, and put it together, I've got a question for you now. As you're looking at those numbers, do you believe that those numbers are achievable? Now, you may have concerns over how can you generate that volume of leads? What are you going to do to make all that happen? That's what we're going to cover off in the next few minutes. So maybe suspend your disbelief about the ability to be able to generate those leads and convert them until we kind of get further down into the training. But really look at the number of clients and the average client value and make some decisions of, are they achievable or not? Because if you're not confident that they're achievable, go back to the drawing board, readjust the numbers, and keep playing with the formula until you come up with a scenario and a set of numbers that you believe are achievable. And now this is really important, because as we go through and as we start to build your activity plan and your outreach plan, and we start to put all the pieces of this strategy together for you, if you don't believe it's achievable, you're not going to put the work in. If you don't believe that the work is going to achieve the goals you need, you're not going to do it, or you're not going to do it well. You'll half-heartedly attempt it, and it won't get the work. And that's what we don't want to, that's what we want to avoid doing through here. So spend the time to play with the numbers and come up with a scenario that's achievable for you. Now, before I kind of start to unpack the strategy, I want to give you some of the things about what this is and isn't. So to execute this growth strategy here, you do not need to spend any money on paid advertising. This strategy can achieve your goals through 100% outreach and direct communication. You do not need to spend hours creating content after content after content. And you do not need to rely on building a big audience or spending hours every day posting on multiple platforms in order to achieve it. What you do need is you do need to invest time consistently into the tasks which are going to impact your profit levers and give you the greatest return on investment for your time. And there's no shortcuts to success. This is non-negotiable. If you're going to achieve the growth you want over the next 12 months, you've got to focus your time and energy and effort into the areas that are going to have that disproportionate return on investment. They're going to give you that unfair advantage, and they're going to give you the leverage and the results you need. And we'll help you map all of this out as we go through. So let's show you the $1 million framework. So there's really 5 phases in this framework. First phase is create a list of targeted prospects. Now, really important as you go through this, garbage in, garbage out. The better that list of targeted prospects and the more aligned and segmented and condensed that is with your ideal avatar, the better the results are going to be. If you're just buying an email list off a provider, chances are everything else below is not going to be anywhere near as effective compared to spending the time. So make sure that list of targeted prospects is the best quality that you can be, and all the time that you invest or you pay an assistant to do that will come back to you tenfold through that. Then you need to build a direct outreach strategy to start conversations and generate leads. Phase 3 is you need to qualify the leads. Phase 4 is you need to convert the leads. And then phase 5 is your 7-11-4 follow-up, which we'll talk about in a minute. And what you'll discover is these working together are amazing, but the fortune it comes into the follow-up, and to get the numbers that we're talking about here, your 7-11-4 follow-up becomes really, really effective through that. So wait for that in a couple of minutes and we'll show you exactly what that looks like. So the key out of all of this is to focus your time on the consistent activities you need to achieve the results. And this comes down to having a daily activity plan. Knowing your numbers, knowing the results, knowing what you need to do on a daily basis that you can measure your progress against is going to be key in achieving your results out of this strategy. And what does your activity plan need to actually achieve? Well, using the numbers before, you need to create the activity plan that's going to help you generate 600 unqualified leads over the next 12 months. It's about 50 a month. It's going to create their plan on how that's going to qualify 150 of those leads into genuine sales opportunities. That's 13 per month. And then be able to convert 4 new clients per month. That's it. Now, spend some time to look at that, because that's really important for you to understand, because this becomes the core of your business. How can you manage 4 new clients per month? How can you manage the time to be able to take 13 qualified leads through a sales process? And how can you go in and put the time to generate the 50 leads per month? That's why the plan becomes so critical and so effective. And we can help you outline that plan in really, really granular, specific details as we go along. But when you have your plan in place and you're starting to build your sales strategy, it really comes down to just looking at this. Now, this is just a high level overview. So you start with your targeted prospect list, and then you're going to use LinkedIn to build new connections. And there's other strategies to start conversations within that, but you're going to use LinkedIn to build your network connections and start conversations. Everyone that connects with you in your network, you're going to put into a CRM system. And then you're going to use a combination of LinkedIn direct messaging and email sequence to generate responses. And once you've got responses there, you're going to then just update your CRM and begin your qualification process. If they don't respond, you're going to put them to your 7-11-4 follow-up, which is where you're going to continue to engage with them over a period of 12 months consistently without spamming them in a way that's going to maximize the value and get the responses out of the most amount of leads possible. Now, if they do respond, and then you put them through the qualification and they don't qualify, you're going to put them through the same process. Because guess what? Just because they don't qualify now doesn't mean that they're never going to qualify. And you want to make sure you're following up and nurturing with them over the right time. And if they do qualify and don't convert, guess what? You're going to do the same thing over and over again. Now, what you're going to need to make this work is you're going to need some really good systems. You need some really good structures, and you're also going to need some support. And this is where you can leverage different technologies. You can leverage AI. You can leverage some outsourced virtual assistants, or as we call them, our sales co-pilots, to take care of a lot of the repetitive time-consuming processes, because you need to be able to manage 13 qualified leads per month. You need to be able to manage 4 new clients in order to be able to sort of achieve this. So you want to make sure you've got the right systems and support to be able to achieve, to roll through the volume of activities required to be able to execute on this plan properly. And we can help you with that as you go through as well. And the final kind of point on this is every step needs to help prospects move to the next step, not to the end results or anything like that. And what I mean by that is when you start designing your process and all that stuff, you've got your targeted list of prospects through from here, your activity and your processes at that point in time just need to get them to respond and turn into a lead. That's it. That's the purpose of all of that communication, is get them into a lead. Once they're a lead, you then need to have the processes to either qualify them into your sales process or qualify them out. And once they're qualified, then you start converting. There's no point trying to start with a targeted list, trying to convert them into a client and skipping everything in between, because it's not going to work. So make sure as you're mapping your processes out, every step sells the next step. Now, quickly, I want to go through some key things on the key steps. So we've spoken about building your targeted prospect list. Now, the way that I do it, and I suggest you do it, is to actually use LinkedIn. It is the best resource for anyone in the B2B space at the moment. Now, you can use LinkedIn Sales Navigator to create some broad lists through that. There's about 18 different search filters that you can use, and you can target people based on the lead and the person and decision maker, or the account. And that there's a lot of different ways you can build broad lists inside of LinkedIn. Now, as you go through those lists, there you want to review those individual profiles and remove poor fits, because no matter how tight your criteria is, the way LinkedIn search algorithms are, is they'll actually 30 to 50% of the leads that will come up in that broad search are not going to make your ideal client. So we need to make sure that you spend the time to review them there. We mentioned a few minutes ago, garbage in, garbage out, gold in, gold out. And there's ways you can also then look for buying intent and activity by looking at people that are posting or active inside groups and all that kind of stuff. So build that list as highly focused and targeted as you can, and then segment the list based on industries and roles and other qualifying criteria that are based for you. The way that I do it, I suggest you do it, is go inside a Sales Navigator. You'll see lead list, create 4, 5, 6 different lead lists based on your persona or those other qualifying criteria, and save the contacts in there. 5,000 targeted, really, really specific leads inside of there is all you're going to need to build $1 million a year pipeline. The next thing before you kind of get into your outreach and your activity is you've got to make yourself attractive. And what I'm talking about with this is how people get the first impression about you when they see their LinkedIn profile, how you construct your initial conversations and how you get things started with them. You've got to be as attractive as possible. And to do that, it's a few key tips. It's not about you. It's actually about your prospects. And make sure everything is focused on the prospect, and meet them where they're at and speak to them about their problems. See, one of the big mistakes I see so many people making is they're talking about solutions, and all their profile is all about all the achievements they've got and all these kind of great things, which most people have no idea what they mean, and they have no idea how that relates back to them. Simplify your language, align it with who your prospects are, where they're at right now, what's affecting their day, and what their real problems are. Then as you go through, be authentic, be real, and show them who you really are. And as you're doing that, keep talking about solutions and benefits, not your product or your services. And finally, be really comfortable in polarizing people, because to attract your ideal client, must be able to repel those that aren't a good fit for you. And that's going to mean that there's going to be some negativity, there's going to be some negative responses, and some people that just won't like you. And that has to be fine. Now, if you do want some further help, we've got a thing called our Perfect Prospect Profile. That's a framework we've created. It'll take you about 15 minutes to fill it out. Just let us know, or go to our website at www.howtoscaleyoursales.com and follow the links there, and you can download your perfect prospect profile. It'll take you about 15 minutes and it's free. So go ahead and do that. And that will really help you understand how you can make yourself more attractive as possible. And we've spoken about now your direct outreach strategy. Once you've connected with people, this is where your results are going to come from. And you need to build first connections and leverage emails and the other way to start as many conversations as you can. You need to import your connections into a CRM because it's not the first outreach that's going to get you the result. The 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th over a period of 12 months. And if you're not building them into a CRM system, you're going to lose track. You're going to forget. You're going to only be scraping the surface and getting a fraction of the result that are achievable. And then combine LinkedIn, direct messaging, and email to start conversations. Be persistent with it without spamming, but be persistent and have multiple attempts over multiple tries to start conversations. And be strategic. And every time you get a negative reply, remove them. You can build a lead list inside of Sales Navigator that we use. We call negative reply. And we just make sure whenever we're filtering outreach, we're excluding people that are in that list from our outreach. In our CRM system, we put them in an unsubscribe. So we make sure we're really respectful of everyone that says, don't bother me anymore, I'm not interested. We keep them out of the funnel. That's what you need to do. Now, I've spoken about this before, but the fortune is in the follow-up. And you're only going to get on that first attempt that you go and talk to someone, you're only going to get a 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 if you're lucky, % response rate, which means there's 94 to 98% of people that in that list that aren't going to do. And the 7-11-4 follow-up framework helps you build that credibility and it maximizes the leads. And it's something you can create once and use ongoing from there. And it's really simple. We need to create 7 hours worth of consumable content. And it may sound overwhelming. Promise you it's simple. Little videos like this, other little instructional messages, audios. There's so many different ways you can share value and share parts of your story with prospects that they can go read. Your website, books, frameworks. There's a real clear framework we can help you with to actually create that structure. We want to make sure there's a minimum of 11 touch points over 12 months designed to get them to respond. Not your newsletters or junk like that, like 12, 11 specific touch points aimed at starting conversation based out of 4 different locations. You can use LinkedIn messaging, email, website, posted content, SMS, phone calls, voicemail drops. There's so many different ways you can actually structure that touch point that we can help you integrate and automate and systemize all through that. But you create this framework once and you can use it over the entire 12 months on all 5,000 prospects. And this is where the value comes from. And you can make nuances within these touch points for those leads that haven't responded versus that aren't qualified, those versus those that are qualified and haven't converted. You can build those touch points very subtly in a couple of different nuances so you're getting the right message to the right person. Now, qualifying your leads, typos. Now, just because someone is interested in your product or service doesn't mean they're a potential client. You must qualify your leads before you begin the conversion process. And if you do this, it means the outcome of the sale in front of a fully qualified lead is in your hands, not in the prospect. But if you don't, it means you're likely going to be wasting hours, days, weeks, or months talking to the wrong people and missing the real opportunities. So there's 5 key qualifying criteria you need to meet. First criteria is, are they able to make a decision to purchase? Second criteria is, do they have a compelling reason to purchase your product or services now? Now, is that said differently? Do they have a need, a want, an opportunity, or a problem that's affecting them right now? The third thing is, are they prepared to take action and implement a solution now? Fourth thing is, do they have the budget to invest in your product or service? And the fifth one is, are they a good fit for you? Now, said differently, that fifth one is, do you want to work with them? And because if you don't want to work with them and if they're not a good fit for you, don't waste your time, get them out of the funnel now. But if they meet those 5 criteria and you get to that fifth one and you make that decision of, yes, they're a good fit for you, and yes, you want to work with them, then your conversion process will go through the roof. And talking about sales conversion, keep it really simple. When you're in front of a qualified lead, the outcome of the sale is in your hands, not theirs. So to do that, simplify your product offering and use the Goldilocks formula. Have 2 or 3 products and services that you do. Don't have 1,000 different packages. Have a low cost, the ideal, and then a premium package. Give them the choice and ask them which one is most appropriate for them. Sell by asking lots of questions. The more time you spend asking questions and listening to their answers, the easier your sales process is going to be. And then keep things simple. And finally, don't coach, sell. One of the biggest mistakes so many people make is they actually try to coach their clients before they've made a decision to invest in coaching, and it results in a lot of wasted time and a lot of lower value sales. Make sure that when you're taking people through the process, you're selling to them authentically, effectively, and putting them in a position to want and need your services before you start to deliver to them. So just remember, as we're kind of wrapping this up now, we've covered a lot, and there's obviously a lot more depth we can go into on each of these points. But remember, to achieve your $1 million goal, all you need to do is generate 600 unqualified leads over the next 12 months, 50 per month. Qualify 150 of those leads, that's 13 per month. Convert 50 of those new clients, that's 4 per month. And maintain an average client value of $20,000. That's it. That's all you need to do. And everything we've spoken about, everything that we can go as we go deeper into each of these points, that's where all of the results are going to come from. And you need to make sure as you're going through this, you're spending the time to achieve that. And if you do, the results are going to be there for you. So how can we support you and how can we help you to achieve that? So I've got a personal mission for 2024, and I want to work with 50 businesses to help them generate $1 million of revenue each over the next 12 months. And I'm going to do that by helping them create a personalized sales growth strategy that's designed specifically for their business. We're going to give them all the implementation support. So everything we've spoken about, from the strategy to the systems to the messaging to the marketing assets to the follow-up to everything, we're going to help them implement everything that they need to do. We're then going to provide one-on-one coaching where I'm working with you directly to help make sure that everything you've built is achieving the results. You've also got the support of my team. We have sales co-pilots that we can help you with. We've also got other support services for systems and videos and content and all of that kind of stuff that we can help you with there. And then we're going to help provide you the full accountability and the course correction. So this is working with you intimately to help you design, implement, and execute and achieve. So if that's something that you could be interested in and something that you're curious to explore, what is that going to look like for you and what the costs are and the returns and all that kind of stuff, then this is what I'm going to invite you to do. Book in your no obligation $1 million roadmap session today. We'll spend 30 minutes. There's going to be no sales pressure. We'll record the call and transcribe it for you and make them available for you regardless of what happens from there. And through that, I want to help you create a clear, executable roadmap. And we'll give you the touch points and everything you need to do specific to your business to help achieve those goals. We can look at the assets you've already got in place, what's working for you, and help you identify the changes you need to make. Or if you start from scratch, how to actually build this from the ground up. Now, there is only limited availability. I do only have opportunities for 15 of these per month to be able to book in. So click on the link below, book in a time on my calendar. Let's set up a time, and I'm really looking forward to helping you achieve this goal over 2024. So this is Matt. I'm really appreciative. Thank you for spending so much time with us today. I hope this has been valuable. I hope you watch this again and again and again. And I hope, regardless of whether I actually get to speak to you personally or get to work with you, I hope you use this to sort of make 2024 your best year ever.